Hello and welcome to the September 1st, 2024 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, I'm finally investing in this. We're on every Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Facebook or YouTube page. That's right, you can catch us live on Facebook and now YouTube. Hooray! I have made good on my promise, and we are simulcasting, and we will continue to do so. This is a program dedicated to bringing some good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back into the world. Several of our articles are pulled from goodnewsnetwork.org, but we do appreciate articles sent in by you, the viewers. And on that note, y'all absolutely flooded me with articles. Producer Donna and I were carving through them as they were coming in. Just so many articles. Thank you all so very much. Some of them we will show on future episodes. And if we don't get to some of them, I do apologize. But I do thank you all so very much for all the send-ins. It was really something else. Let's look and see. We got the chat live for both YouTube and Facebook. I'm still kind of working on the chat layout and the overlay, but it's doing its thing. Lilith on Facebook is saying that we should get some backrooms bops during our countdown. Some mallcore maybe. I like that. She's also asking if there are people on the YouTube part of things. There are. So I was informed by a couple of people that they don't have Facebook, but they would still like to tune into Nick's News. So the whole thing has been kind of like the shift to YouTube and getting YouTube up and running. When we got the YouTube page running with all of our videos, it was a real big accomplishment for us. And now the simulcasting is just as big. Being able to have our videos available live on both for those who cannot watch on Facebook or just choose to avoid Meta entirely. I don't blame them, so. All right, let's get into our news brew. So, this is a big one. What we have here, and producer Donna told me how I should be doing this. Just holding it up before I do any rotations. This is Up World Wide Stout. This is produced by the wonderful people at Dogfish Head Craft Brewing Incorporated. This is a 16 to 18% ABV high octane beer. It all depends on where it got pulled from their tanks. So the ABV will vary with these beers, with the Worldwide Stout series. So 16 to 18%. It's an Imperial Coffee Stout, and it is brewed with regeneratively grown grains, which I'm going to have to change that in post. Finca Terrerito cold pressed coffee from Rise Up Coffee Roasters, plant-based milk, and maple syrup. This is a wake-up call that I'm drinking at 9 o'clock at night. So, it is a bottle, so we need the Battle Song bottle opener. Oh, and I caught myself in the face with it. Glad it is a bottle opener. Wow. All right, we're going to get into the theatrics of a 5-minute pour with my Dragon's Milk Triple Mash Teku glass. Why am I doing a Teku glass? It's so that I can sip this and not get absolutely wasted while I am doing this broadcast. Got Spoopy Shapeshifter tuning in on YouTube. Very good, very cool. All right, let's get into the theatrics of a 5-minute pour. Not as thick as the beer I had last night. The beer I had last night was a blended with Lumber Number 1, and that beer poured like motor oil. This one, a little bit thinner, but no less destructive, and this actually carries the higher ABV. Oh, we in trouble. Oh, we in trouble. Let me set that aside. Whew, that's going to be a good beer. So, shout outs. Do you want some fine wine or cider? head on down to Fox Hen Winery in Grand Haven, Michigan. They're open Fridays and Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Usually on Fridays, you can catch me there from about 5 to 7. This upcoming Friday, I will not be there, but I will be there on the 13th of September. So that nice Friday the 13th, I'll be there. So hope to see you all there. And I have the links for them in the description. My sister Lilith's son, Osias, celebrated his 6th birthday on Saturday, the 31st of August. Happy birthday, Osias. Cheers. Folks, we're in trouble. That's a very strong beer. Another shout out that we got, my friend Dan's father-in-law underwent emergency heart surgery and came out okay. He is doing well. Surgery went well, and he is recovering with friends and family. So to Dan's father-in-law, glad you made it through, sir. Cheers. Wow. It's like really strong coffee and a lot of good stuff. Jeez. All right, news quote. So, producer Donna and I went hunting for a news quote. It was a very interesting search, but we finally settled on one that I really like. Nobody has ever measured, even the poets, how much a heart can hold. It's a really nice, really thoughtful quote, short but to the point. How much love that we can hold for one another, friends and family. Calling people your loved ones is a big thing when you hold somebody in that regard. And so that's from Zelda Fitzgerald. She was the wife to F. Scott Fitzgerald. She was an American novelist, a painter, and a socialite. And one more time from her, from Zelda Fitzgerald. Nobody has ever measured, even the poets, how much a heart can hold. Zelda Fitzgerald, thank you very much. And to everyone, cheers. We gotta slow down. Bug update. The bugs I care for are happy and healthy, as far as I can tell. Elmira has been dutifully digging out her burrow, and it is absolutely massive. I actually pulled her tank. She's actually out and about right now, listening to me. I had to pull her tank forward because I wanted to see what she was up to, and I managed to get my phone behind the tank and take a picture, which I will be posting on Tuesday. And her burrow is almost the entire backside of the tank. So she has been a little busy builder. The roaches are fat and content. The darkling beetles are scuttling around doing darkling beetle things. Keep an eye out on Tuesdays for a new feature we're going to do, where on the Facebook page I'm going to post about either a bug or a plant that I own. I'm going to include information about care in case you want to get into bug husbandry or horticulture. And I'll also include biology and some interesting facts about those plants and animals that I take care of. So if you ever want to get into it, you'll be able to get a little leg up. So because I'll include some lessons I've learned over the years. No, Grayson on Facebook saying it's out of the tank. No, her burrow takes up the entire back side of the tank, basically. She's in the tank. She's what I meant by out and about is she's actually, when I'm talking a lot, I notice that she comes out and she stands on top of one of her hides and will be there the whole time. So I don't know if she hears me and is listening. I don't know what that behavior is. I'm still kind of exploring it and trying to understand her. But she is. Elmira's out and about right now. Lilith saying she would love a bug husband. That sounds like so much fun. And Grayson, our resident graphics artist, saying that Elmira is planning to eat me. So hopefully not. But all right, let's get into the good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, plants and animals, and the wholesome notes are really nice articles that we like to end on. So, we're going to get into it. We're going to start in Category 1, Science and Technology. This one comes from Travis. Thank you very much, Travis, for sending this in. I called it A Different Way to Build the Bricks. And I will copy and paste this into the chat on both YouTube and Facebook if y'all want to read along with me. I'm going to wait for my laptop to calm down. Holy crap, buddy. Really revved up a little bit there. I actually wonder something. I'm going to try something real quick. The encoder might freak out here. Maybe not. Wow, why'd it go into boost for that? Really? I might not be able to do the thing I want to do. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do the thing I want to do. I'm just going to have to look forward to November when we get a new rig. So, no, not tech issues so much as just my laptop really spinning up. It's a little warm in my apartment or my townhome right now, so the laptop's a little on the hot side, so it's cooling itself off. All right. So I've got those posted. Lego to replace oil in its bricks with pricier renewable plastic. I just whacked the gain on that. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Sorry about that, folks. I just noticed that hit hard. I hope it didn't kill my audio on the YouTube side, because I've heard YouTube will do that. All right, Lego to replace oil in its bricks with pricier renewable plastic. But hold on before you start crying foul. This article comes to us from Reuters. It was posted on August 28th of 2024 by Jacob Gronholt Peterson. Toy maker Lego said on Wednesday it was on track to replace the fossil fuels used in making its signature bricks with more expensive, renewable, and recycled plastic by 2032 after signing deals with producers to secure long-term supply. Lego, which sells billions of plastic bricks annually, has tested over 600 different materials to develop a new material that would completely replace its oil-based brick by 2030, but with limited success. Now, Lego is aiming to gradually bring down the oil content in its bricks by paying up to 70% more for certified renewable resin, the raw plastic used to manufacture the bricks, in an attempt to encourage manufacturers to boost production. This means a significant increase in the cost of producing a Lego brick, CEO Niels Christensen told Reuters. He said the company is on track to ensure that more than half of the resin it needs in 2026 is certified according to the mass balance method, an auditable way to trace sustainable materials through the supply chain, up from 30% in the first half of 2024. With a family owner committed to sustainability, it's a privilege that we can pay extra for the raw materials without having to charge customers extra, Christensen said. That is the trick here, and that is why this is good news. Even though Lego is going to be eating more cost, or is going to be paying more for the production of their product, they are eating the cost, and they are trying their best not to put that cost back on the consumers of their product. I have been building Legos since I was a very young child. I have loved them. Sure, they have gone through some price increases as time has gone on with inflation and the cost of materials, but it looks like this big leap, Lego is actually doing its best not to be putting that on the consumer, and I can appreciate that. The move comes amid a surplus of cheap virgin plastic, driven by major oil companies' investments in petrochemicals. Plastics are projected to drive new oil demand in the next few decades. Lego suppliers are using bio-waste such as cooking oil or food industry waste fat, as well as recycled materials to replace virgin fossil fuels in plastic production. The market for recycled or renewable plastic is still in its infancy, partly because most available feedstock is used for subsidized biodiesel, which is mixed into transportation fuels. According to Neste, the world's largest producer of renewable feedstocks, fossil-based plastics is about half or a third of the price of sustainable options. We sense more activity and willingness to invest in this now than we did just a year ago, said Christensen. He declined to say which suppliers or give details about price or volumes, probably because right now it's trade secrets and deals. Rival toy maker Hasbro has started including plant-based or recycled materials in some toys, but without setting firm targets on plastic use. Mattel plans to use only recycled, recyclable, or bio-based plastics in all products by 2030. So the major toy manufacturers are really making jumps towards renewables. Around 90% of all plastic is made from virgin fossil fuels, according to lobby group Plastics Europe. To Travis for sending in that article, and to the owners of Lego for eating the cost to make their bricks use less fossil fuels and not pass that on to the consumers. Cheers. Sean has joined the chat. He is our resident derailer. He said he turned off all the wrong alarms, and his kid is still nuts about Lego. That's really cool to hear. And Sean has a 2-year badge. That's new. Very cool. Julie has built a red panda, a unicorn, a Halloween black kitty, and mouse. What is that last word? A mouse set, and soon a bonsai tree. Very cool. Very cool. I've got to size that one. Man, that's weird. The YouTube chat system is really demanding on size. So, all right, there we go. Well, that's really cool. All right, so that is going to get us out of science and technology. We're going to jump into category 2, health and medicine. This article comes from Kendra. Kendra, thank you very much for sending in this article. However, the one that I went with is not the one that you sent in. Kendra is really good at finding us some really super science articles, but they're very lengthy reads, and I don't want to go slogging through a 15-minute read. So what I did is I went out and I found a cut-down 4-minute read version of it. So that is what I have included here. I probably will add the one. I will add the one that Kendra found if you'd like the larger read about this topic, because it is really cool. I called it "Out with Opioids," and I will copy and paste this into the chats if y'all would like to read along. Experimental pain drug may offer alternative to opioids for acute pain, study suggests. The one that I'm utilizing is from CNN. It was posted on January 30th, 2024. The one that Kendra provided was a lot sooner. And again, I will post that one into the descriptions of the YouTube and the Facebook video, so if you want to check that one out, by all means do so. It's really cool science. An experimental pain medicine met the primary goal of a late-stage clinical trial, the drug's maker said Tuesday, setting the stage for it to seek approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration this year and potentially providing an alternative to opioids that doesn't carry the same safety risks. The medicine from Vertex Pharmaceuticals, dubbed VX548, was superior to a placebo in relieving pain after 2 kinds of surgery: abdominoplasty, also known as a tummy tuck, and bunionectomy, with a similar safety profile, Vertex said in a news release. A smaller Phase 3 study of acute pain relief for a broader range of conditions also demonstrated the drug's safety and efficacy. In a comparison with an opioid treatment, hydrocodone bitartrate acetaminophen, the combination that makes up Vicodin, the drug failed to meet a goal of superior efficacy, but it showed similar relief to the opioid on a measure known as the numeric pain rating scale. It's when you go into the doctor and you've got a pain rating from 1 to 10. So it had the same effect, or a very similar effect to Vicodin. The results, combined with those from previous trials, suggest that VX548 has an unprecedented and compelling profile as an option for people who have acute pain, said Vertex's research chief, Dr. David Altschuler. The company said it will submit an application for approval to the FDA by mid-2024. And the article that Kendra sent in talked specifically about that. If it's successful, it will represent the first new class of acute pain medicine in more than 2 decades, said Dr. Jessica Oswald, an associate physician in emergency medicine and pain medicine at the University of California, San Diego, and a member of Vertex's acute pain steering committee in the company's release. The challenge with opioids is not that they don't work, Altschuler told CNN. The challenge with opioids is that they come with all this baggage, the safety and tolerability, and addictive potential. VX548 works in a completely different way from opioids, blocking pain in the peripheral nervous system rather than acting in the brain. It targets a structure called a sodium channel, specifically one known as NaV1.8. Work in genetics has shown that people with mutations in genes for another sodium channel, NaV1.7, can have pain disorders where they feel too much or too little pain. There are 9 sodium channels in total, but most of them are complicated in other functions of the body, Dr. Stephen Waxman, director of the Center for Neuroscience and Regeneration Research at the Yale School of Medicine, wrote in the New England Journal of Medicine in August. Lidocaine, for example, is an effective blocker of sodium channels, but it blocks too many. That makes it an effective tool for pain, but only locally, for dental or skin procedures, he explained. Charlie has entered the chat. Hi, Charlie. NaV1.7 and NaV1.8 are only expressed in peripheral nerves and only in pain-sensing fibers, Altschuler said. NaV1.7 initiates and then NaV1.8 propagates the pain signal as it goes along the nerve. Previous attempts by other companies to develop pain drugs targeting NaV1.7 haven't shown success. But Altschuler suggests that other medicines may not have targeted the sodium channel specifically enough, a problem he doesn't apply to VX548 and NaV1.8. He noted that Vertex is also working on earlier stage medicines targeting NaV1.7. In the results reported Tuesday, Vertex enrolled more than 1,100 people who'd had abdominoplasty and a similar number who'd had bunionectomy, a corrective foot surgery. The drug was given by mouth, first at a dose of 100 milligrams, and then by doses half that size every 12 hours until 36 hours after the first dose. Hydrocodone bitartrate acetaminophen was given every 6 hours over 42 hours. The main goal of the study was better pain relief than a placebo on a measure known as the sum of the pain intensity difference from 0 to 48 hours, or SPID-48. VX548 scored 118.4 on that scale, compared with 70.1 for placebo in the abdominoplasty patients and 99.9 versus 70.6 in bunionectomy patients, handily meeting the study's main goal. Against the opioid drug on that measure, VX548 had a better score in abdominoplasty patients by 6.6 points, but it wasn't different enough to reach statistical significance. And its score was 20 points lower than the opioid for bunionectomy patients. So it's a little all over the place, but hopefully it's going to get better with time. On a different measure, the numeric pain rating scale, VX548 and the opioid comparator showed similar reductions, 47% and 43% reductively in abdominoplasty patients who started at an average pain rating of 7.3 and 7.4 after 48 hours. After 48 hours, patients on VX548 reported an average reduction of 3.4 points, while those on the opioid drug reported an average reduction of 3.2 points. For bunionectomy, the reductions were 51% and 53%. So the reductions are very similar in pain. That's what we're shooting for. Vertex said its drug was generally well tolerated, and common adverse events like nausea, headache, constipation, and dizziness occurred less on the drug than in either the placebo or the opioid group. The results follow those from a mid-stage study in December of VX548 in another pain condition, diabetic peripheral neuropathy. Vertex said Tuesday that ultimately it aims to obtain broad approval for both kinds of pain. To Kendra for sending in that article, and to everybody involved at Vertex with the production of VX548, an alternative to opioids for pain reduction. Cheers. From Sean, hydromorphone was a heavy hitter after his accident, but it did its job. Just got off it and dropped straight to Advil Extra Strength. Very cool. Hello, Eliza. Eliza has joined us on the Facebook live stream. Yeah, after I had a major surgery, they had me on they prescribed me Norco, and it didn't do anything for my pain. So I had like 1 day's worth of Norco, and then I just gave the bottle back to my parents, and I'm like, do whatever. I can't. It's not doing anything. And then I just reclined in my chair and kind of just took a nap. It's like, whatever. If the pain medication's not going to work, I'm just going to hope I can think it away long enough to sleep. So getting off of those medications, especially to avoid dependencies and addictions, is huge. So finding alternatives like this is really big. All right, so that's going to get us out of Category 2. We're going to bounce over to Category 3, Flora and Fauna, aka plants and animals. We got some good ones in here. I am going to copy and paste this first one in the chat. I called it Parks and Rec. Here's what the record-breaking $100 million National Parks grant will fund. And this article comes from Good. It was posted on August 26th of 2024. And the author... I'm not quite sure who the author of the article was. Oh, Cameron Baker. It's spicy. Eliza asked in the Facebook chat what the news brew was. Eliza, the news brew is Wake Up World Wide Stout, 16 to 18% ABV Imperial Coffee Stout. High octane. All right, let's get into this. On Monday morning, the National Park Foundation, the nonprofit arm of the official National Park Service, announced a historic $100 million grant from Lilly Endowment Incorporated. The grant is the largest ever received by NPF, and the largest grant benefiting national parks in the 108-year history of the NPS. In fact, it comes right on time for the NPS annual birthday celebration, which is honored on August 25th every year, marking the date in 1916 when President Woodrow Wilson established the NPS. The NPF was later founded by Congress in the 1960s. This grant, according to a press release from NPF, celebrates a pivotal moment in safeguarding the future of America's treasured national parks. Confronting mounting foot traffic, responding to a changing climate, and navigating the social and cultural landscape of the country's public lands, this endowment will help NPF in 4 key priority areas, according to a press release. Those areas include creating opportunities for young people to expand environmental stewardship, a deeper understanding of history, and a connection to the natural world. So that's number 1. Number 2, addressing critical biodiversity concerns that will ensure the longevity of diverse, fragile ecosystems and wildlife that call these parks home. 3, accommodating unprecedented growth and providing a world-class visitor experience through new technologies and accessible infrastructure. And 4, providing a more comprehensive and inclusive narrative of the communities whose voices, contributions, and experiences have been left out of the American story. That is really cool. Specific plans for the money haven't yet been actualized, but Will Shafroth, president and CEO of NPF, told the Associated Press that it will prioritize restoring coral reefs at the Biscayne National Park in Florida and restoring trout species in western national parks, both of which have been part of recent investments from the foundation. The impact of this gift will be felt in our parks and in surrounding communities for generations to come, Chuck Sams, director of the NPS, said in a statement. This is a truly visionary investment and an example of how the power of philanthropy can amplify this crucial work that we all believe in so much. Chat's talking about some beer and some scrolling. Through this grant, though this grant marks a historic moment for the national parks and its targeted areas of improvement, it's part of a much larger call to action, the Campaign for National Parks. This is NPF's $1 billion fundraising goal to help address urgent needs across the country's 430 national park sites. Additionally, park partners and other nonprofits share a goal of $3.5 billion to generate more support for the future and long-term health of the national parks. One of those cherished partners is now the Lilly Endowment. Our founders were inspired by the beauty and wonders of the natural world and supportive of research and educational programs about archaeology and the cultural history of our nation. N. Clay Robbins, chairman and CEO of Lilly Endowment, said in a statement. Lilly Endowment was founded in 1937 with gifts of stock in pharmaceutical firm Eli Lilly and Company, according to the foundation's website. Eli Lilly is the pharmaceutical company that capped the price of insulin at $35 in 2023, following heavy pressure and pushback from activists and at the behest of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. With the drug company's major success, the company's stock currently sits at 52-week high of $972.53 per share. The endowment has blossomed. In the years since its inception, it has made grants totaling nearly $15.2 billion to over 11,000 charitable organizations. At the end of 2023, the endowment's assets totaled nearly $62.2 billion, which will be used to benefit future generation, Lilly Endowment's website shares. Robbins continued, "We believe the National Park Foundation's campaign will enhance the programming in and promote the future vibrancy of our country's marvelous systems of parks, monuments, and historic sites. It's a vision shared by NPF. The National Park Foundation is inspired by and incredibly grateful for this extraordinary gift from Lilly Endowment," Shafroth said in a statement. For over 50 years, private philanthropy has played a vital role in bridging the gap between park needs and available funding. This grant will allow us to supercharge our efforts to ensure our national parks are for everyone, for generations to come. So, to the National Park Foundation and to the Lilly Endowment for this historical, record-breaking donation to supporting our parks across the United States. Cheers. Eliza said in the chat, America the Beautiful. Over in the YouTube chat, Mona brought up, wonder how that would work for neuropathy for the VX548 drug. It'd be very interesting to see what, for neuropathy, what the mechanism behind pain is for that, and whether or not VX548 or other substitute or other versions of it will be helpful. So, what have we got next? All right, I called this next one chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. If you've ever watched SpongeBob, you'll probably understand the reference. And I will copy and paste this into the chats if y'all would like to read along. Charlie in the Facebook chat. I remember when they first invented chocolate. Charlie, you're not that old. Stop it. Lilith following it up. Ma, he's got some chocolate. Malik saying age check. Big chocolate on brink of revolution as Swiss scientists use cocoa bean waste to replace sugar. This article comes from goodnewsnetwork.org. It was posted on August 29th of 2024 by Andy Corbley. Oh, Eliza or Charlie was quoting more of the scene. I didn't remember that part. I remember when they first made chocolate back. Oh my gosh. All right. Researchers in Zurich have found a way to potentially transform chocolate manufacturing by using the husk and the flesh of the cocoa bean pod to create a sugar syrup. Clearing 2 hurdles in one jump, it would allow chocolatiers to remove sugar from the process and reduce the immense amount of biological waste required to produce chocolate. Reporting for the BBC from Geneva, Imogen Fox describes chocolate production as picking up an apple, pulling out the seeds, and throwing the rest in the garbage. Cocoa beans, the key ingredients in chocolate, are just that, the beans of the plant. The large papaya-sized pod and the heaps of white milky flesh inside are tossed away to rot in the sun, producing thousands of tons of methane, a potent, short-lived greenhouse gas. At Zurich's prestigious Federal Institute of Technology, scientist Kim Mishra and his team distilled the juice contained inside the flesh into a concentrated syrup. Then, by mixing in the pulp as a thickener and even the husk, they produced a chocolatey gel that's ideal for making chocolate outright, or as a sweetener, and which contains 14% simple sugars by weight. Mishra and his team explained that cocoa farming faces several endemic problems, including the poverty that the farmers often live in and the constantly rising price of the beans. Instead of fighting over who gets how much of the cake, you make the cake bigger and make everybody benefit, Mishra told the BBC. The farmers get significantly extra income through utilizing cocoa pulp, but also the important industrial processing is happening in the country of origin, creating jobs, creating value that can be distributed in the country of origin. As is often the case with sustainable renovations on old industries, the cocoa gel is more expensive than sugar, 9 times more expensive by Mishra's reckoning. But he points out that most governments that manage large domestic sugarcane industries generously subsidize the production of the devil's white dust. Oh my god, the devil's white dust. This author is spicy. The chat on Facebook is blowing up with the fact that I apparently owe all of the women in chat chocolate now. All right. All right, I'm getting back to the article. If the subsidies were removed, the cocoa gel would be much more competitive. Mishra told the BBC that chocolate industry entities from 3 continents have already contacted him with interest in his invention, and is certain he will receive some interest from the Swiss chocolatiers. Agricultural subsidies are about the most undemocratic economic policy imaginable. But most voters and citizens remain ignorant of their effects, so they unfortunately remain ubiquitous across the West. In both principle and reality, subsidies siphon off a portion of the salaries and wages in society and present them as gifts to farmers to ensure that they can sell goods that are not desired at a price that allows them to make a living. As a result, tens of billions are doled out to farmers who won't produce a gram of food you'd actually see in the supermarket, but merely to mass produce inedible crops like wheat, corn, soy, oilseed, and sugar, which have fueled the rise in ultra-processed foods that have allowed America to lead the world in chronic disease. Okay, all right, Andy, hold up now, come on. That is a spicy author. But all right. Very cool. To scientist Kim Mishra and the team at Zurich's prestigious Federal Institute of Technology for working out a new way to create sugar and chocolate substitutes using the husk and the flesh that are usually discarded. Cheers. Yep, I've lost complete control of the chat in Facebook. It has gone off the rails. I owe everybody chocolate, apparently. Crap. All right, I called this one, Who You Gonna Call? Ghost Orchid. And I will copy and paste this in the chat if y'all want to read along. Producer Donna found this one, and I really like it because I like to keep plants. I'm big into horticulture, and I love orchids. I am continuously learning how to take care of orchids, so I will copy paste these in the chat if y'all want to read along. Britain's rarest wild orchid discovered again after one man's 15-year ghost hunt. And this was posted on Positive News. It was posted on August 27th of 2024 by Lucy Purdy. A ghost orchid has been discovered flowering in England, the first time since 2009 that the enigmatic plant has been recorded on British soil. The ghost orchid, considered by many to be Britain's rarest plant, has been rediscovered in Britain for the first time since 2009 and only the second time since the 1980s. The find was made by Richard Bate, a member of the Botanical Society of Britain and Ireland, the BSBI, and a keen amateur botanist since childhood. Bates' passion began with an encounter with a bee orchid when he was just 10, inspiring him to spend 30 years searching British woodlands for the elusive ghost orchid. A dental surgeon by profession, in his free time his passion for finding wild orchids has taken him all over the world. His eye for detail was rewarded earlier this month when he found and photographed a single ghost orchid, Epipogium aphyllum, at a site in England. The find has been authenticated by the BSBI, but the location is being kept secret to protect the delicate habitat and the sensitive underground parts of the orchid. They would be vulnerable to trampling by enthusiasts who visit sites annually in the hope of finding the uber-elusive plant. Knowing that the ghost orchid is still here and hasn't gone extinct in Britain fills me with hope for the future of this species, Bate, a father of 3, told Positive News. I am deeply grateful to the BSBI for their unwavering support of botanists like me and their dedication to studying, recording, and conserving Britain's wild plants. This discovery reminds us that even in the darkest woods, there is always hope. And if that isn't a news quote, I don't know what is. Even in the darkest woods, there is always hope. That's some stuff you'd say in a D&D campaign. The ghost orchid is named for its pallid ivory-white color and its tendency to emerge in the deepest, darkest shade of woodland. Unlike most of Britain's wild plants, it has no leaves and doesn't produce chlorophyll, meaning it can't photosynthesize. Instead, it relies on nutrients from a subterranean fungal partner. Because it doesn't need sunlight, the ghost orchid exists almost entirely underground, only appearing above the leaf litter on the rare occasions when the conditions are conducive to flowering. That's really cool. Chat is discussing the end of the human race and the fact that plants and animals will outlive us. I'm y'all are great. First recorded in Britain in Herefordshire in 1854, the ghost orchid's initial identification was unusually late for a native species, probably due to its rare and unpredictable appearances. Over the next 170 years, it was recorded flowering in Britain only a few dozen times. In 2009, it was declared extinct after an man, I gotta get my mind off of the alcohol. After an absence of 22 years, only to reappear a week later. Bates' discovery earlier this month is the only sighting in the last 15 years. Professor Ian Denholm, one of BSBI's two national expert referees on orchids, said, "Ghost orchid has long been the holy grail for British botanists. There was a brief flurry of records in the 1960s and 1970s, and I was lucky enough to see a single specimen in the mid-1980s. Since then, I reckon only 6 people have knowingly observed in the wild in Britain. Or knowingly observed it in the wild in Britain. It is a wonderful news that it has reappeared, and let's hope it does again." Dr. Kevin Walker, BSBI head of science, added, "Anyone who has tried and failed to see this enigmatic plant will know just how skillful and lucky you have to be to find them. They are incredibly hard to spot amongst the leaf litter and often only persist for a matter of hours or days, being avidly predated by all manner of creatures ranging from slugs to deer. Because of the enigmatic nature of this orchid, it remains possible that it could be discovered in entirely new sites in England or elsewhere in Britain. At the historic English sites, it favors dark woodland or beech or oak, but elsewhere in Europe, it has also been found under pine trees." Chat is blowing up. One thing I would recommend if you really want to laugh and you're watching an episode, go through the chat log for the Facebook page if you're watching on Facebook. The YouTube page's chat is doing pretty good, but the Facebook page is absolutely on fire. Bait has some advice for budding searchers. The best way to find these things is to be very, very lucky. If you find one, buy a lottery ticket next. I'd be over the moon if this discovery encouraged someone to find another, as long as people hunt responsibly and follow the BSBI's code of conduct. That is really cool. To Richard Bate, who found a ghost orchid missing a plant that supposedly went extinct 15 years ago. Cheers. So I did notice a chat earlier, and I'll discuss it real quick right now. It was in the Facebook chat, and I believe it was from Eliza. Eliza stated that they picked up a 4-pack of Southern Tier's Caramel Pumpkin Imperial Ale and a box of Elysian's Pumpkin Pack, which has 4 different kinds of pumpkin beer for the spooky thievin'. Every year once, I will do a pumpkin beer. I do not enjoy pumpkin beer. But for one of the news brews, for one of the episodes, I will do a pumpkin beer in October. So, if you want to throw in some news brew suggestions, by all means, go for it. And we'll see what I settle on. Alright, so that gets us out of flora and fauna. We're going to jump into category 4, the wholesome notes. Those really nice articles we like to end on. Cassidy sent this one in at literally, this was a buzzer beater of an article. So Cassidy, thank you very much. I called this one a sweet donation. And I will copy and paste this into the chat for y'all to read. Mona in the YouTube chat is saying YouTube is working great. Fantastic, Mona. Thank you so much for the feedback. Child donates lemonade stand earnings to the Kent County Animal Shelter. This article was posted on August 31st of 2024, updated on September 1st of 2024 by author Veronica Ortega. Earlier in the week, the Kent County Animal Shelter was pleasantly surprised to receive a heartwarming gift. They sent it to us in the mail, and it came with this really, really nice note, said Angela Hollinshead, executive director of the Kent County Animal Shelter. In a child's writing, the note says, "Dear Kent County Animal Shelter, I had a lemonade stand and earned $80 plus some change, and my parents matched it, so over $160 are going to the animals. Maybe you can buy a toy or something for them. Sincerely, Abby." And that's exactly what the shelter did. They were able to purchase not just one item, but $160 worth of toys and treats for the cats and dogs. It's just such a special gift for us to receive. This child decided to take their hard-earned money in something they could have bought anything with and gifted it to an organization that can use it for animals, Hollins had said. The shelter posted Abby's letter to Facebook, and it went viral, with over 4,000 reactions and more than 1,000 shares. We published the note to social media because that's what we had, and really wanted to highlight the good deed that this little girl had done and how amazing her parents are for offering to match. That's just such a wonderful thing to do, Hollins had said. Many of the shelter's followers were motivated to match Abby's gift. In just a few hours, the shelter collected more than $700 from the community. We're so touched by this little act of kindness has really kind of created this ripple effect for other people wanting to join in and donate, Hollins had said. Because of that ripple effect, the animals will get even more goodies while they wait for their forever homes. All thanks to a little girl named Abby. Hollins had said she wants to say thank you to Abby and her family and the community. If you would like to donate to the shelter in honor of Abby, there is a link in the article. That is a wholesome note if I've ever heard of one. To Cassidy for sending that in. Cheers. And to Abby for raising $80 and a lemonade stand, and to her parents for matching it and giving that to an animal shelter. Cheers. Yes. Producer Donna, we will write that up. We'll include the link in the write-up. I'll leave that article open so I can grab that. Unless you're going to grab that. Either or, we can grab it. All right, we're into our last article for the night. I called this one Leash Laws. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all would like to read along. Producer Donna will get it. I'll read. It's a good team. Inmates training hard-to-adopt dogs in New Mexico creates joy on both ends of the leash. This article was posted by Good News Network on September 1st of 2024. A no-kill animal shelter charity was invited to start an inmate dog training program at the Southern New Mexico Correctional Facility last year, and now joy and fulfillment are being created on both sides of the leash. The ongoing program has helped the inmates to develop compassion and to comply with rules. Their task is to socialize the dogs and teach basic obedience that will get the fur babies adopted more easily. 8 inmates at the Las Cruces prison are now caring for 4 dogs in the program. The inmates have become so devoted to their mission that they held a fundraiser to help pay for the program's costs. Diana Bell, a volunteer with a charity called Deming Animal Guardians, told Good News Network that one of the program's requirements at the beginning was to hire a dog trainer. This is a significant expense for our small charity, but we were committed to give it a try since we saw it as a win-win opportunity. They were pleasantly surprised when they received a check from the inmates themselves. The dog trainees asked a staff member to purchase items from Sam's Club, which were then packaged and sold as toiletry kits. They advertised the program inside the prison and managed to net $350, especially because many inmates, even if they aren't participating, love seeing the dogs on the grounds. The program teaches the dog boundaries, what it is allowed and not allowed, like getting up on furniture, along with basic commands, like stay and fetch. The inmate learns grooming, dog first aid, and how to potty train, taught by the professional trainer in 1 to 2 sessions per week. $350 will pay for 2 weeks of the trainer's visits. During the week, inmates work with the dogs to teach these skills while living together 24 hours a day. The dogs are taken outside 4 times each day to pee, play, and work on commands. I am changed by this experience, wrote one of the inmates named Antonetti, aka Cooley, in a letter. I believe these men will go home more prepared for the world by finally owning up to being responsible rather than careless with another life. Eliza saying, I am now imagining that scene from Inuyasha. Sit, boy! Yep. Hi, Cassidy. Cassidy has joined the Facebook the Facebook chat. These dogs are all amazing in their own ways. None of them are broken beyond repair. We are creating something very special with this program, said the program's current trainer, Jamie Benegas, from Work Dog Work. Dogs that were once castaways are being loved and cared for by individuals in a place where love and care are in short supply. The dogs are emerging from cocoons of fear and loneliness. Inmates are pushing past mental and emotional barriers so they can become more effective at being a positive influence. As for the charity, the positive impact did become a win-win for all. Every pup but one that has graduated from the program has been quickly adopted. You can find out how to help by visiting their website. There is a link in the article, and we will post that one in the description of the uploaded versions of our videos. So that one is really cool. To these inmates at the Las Cruces prison, and to the charities, Deming Animal Guardians and others that are supporting this work of having inmates and dogs bond with one another and make the dogs ready for their forever homes, and help the inmates with learning compassion and other amazing skills. Cheers. Well, that was awesome. A lot of great articles. Thank you all so much for all the articles you sent in. Really, we had a deluge of articles. It was crazy how many y'all flooded us with, and I greatly appreciate that. That was really cool. I thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News Facebook page or the Knicks News YouTube page. Again, we're live every Sunday, and our next broadcast will be on September 8th of 2024. I encourage participation, and y'all show it in spades, so by all means, if you feel inclined, you can post suggestions for news brews, for shout-outs, for quotes, and especially for good news articles that we can present on future episodes. If possible, I do appreciate a variety of articles sent in, spread out across our categories, and those categories, again, are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice articles we like to end on. You can either message us here on Facebook, or you can email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on our videos on Facebook and YouTube. We're trying to figure out how the algorithm works. We're trying to get that joy of our articles out into the algorithm. I'm not going to tell you to do anything. I'm just going to say I do appreciate it when you all like, subscribe, and comment. So thank you all again. As always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I am going to play us out.